We're traveling to and from, incredible.
Somebody just went to college.
Oh, no. So like on the train ride on the way home, it's 50
You know,
miles.
one of the other superintendents.
So it's just like, we started in
My wife is looking for
Winnipeg. You go through north, it's all Wheatfields. Then you hit Boreal Forest. And then the last stretch
Thanks, Curtis.
is the Tundra. So
some other time
we saw 60.
in the lane.
So it was cool.
Just standing there and there's the kids are drilling around with like combs.
It's fun.
So,
Is business still good?
it is right now, but we'll see. Everybody keeps talking, scary stuff, but there's just so much pent-up demand still, so.
Is yours still, is Arch still going hot and heavy?
Yeah, we were over 100 employees. Next year's kind of,
Can you get panels?
yeah. It's just we're fighting, because like, we used to have a nice territory, and we're going to just kind of
All right, it's 5:30. I'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Item 3 on our agenda is a reminder, our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be their personal best through successful learning experiences. Become your best. Item 4, adoption of the agenda and consent agenda is an order of business with the identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action. I need a motion.
I move we adopt the agenda and consent agenda.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? And now, consider approval of the consent agenda as adopted. Approve minutes from the October 18th, 2022 Board of Education meeting. Approve the financial report for the period of July 1, 2022 through October 31st, 2022, and approve bills for the period of October 1, 2022 through October 31st, 2022, in the amount of $2,505,024.37.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Item 6, Board and District Leadership Team Strategic Planning. Legislative update, Mr. Mello.
Yes, as you know, every month we meet with our legislators that represent our area and the local Sheboygan County school districts. And as a group of administrators, we talk about things that are coming down the pike, either legislatively to us or sometimes things that we're advocating for. So currently this is an odd month because of when the first Tuesday was, but our meeting is this Monday, but we've been talking and discussing as we've been moving forward here about some of the bigger societal issues that surround schools. And if you remember from Dina's presentation at the Committee of the Whole, we talked about mental health and some of those emotional health needs and some of those attendance issues that crop in. We used the example from the 8th grade group and how that negatively impacts achievement and all of that. And so we were going to be advocating for our legislators, again, to get off the bump here and add some funding back to what it should be from the freeze from 1920 till today, that we've had no additional leeway with our revenue limits. And so we'd like to make sure that we can be adequately funded so that we can address these needs. As you know, we've added about $500,000 this school year in personnel to deal with to work with students with higher needs and with the population that has grown in that area. And so that is unsustainable with a freeze that is ongoing. And so we also would like to, advocate for adequate funding for the Department of Health and Human Services and for other departments that help students that have a high level of need. It's not just the school district, but it's all of us wrapping our arms around families and students that need help. And so that's what we're going to be advocating for, and we're all going to share some anecdotes as different school districts, because we can all tell some stories that hopefully will resonate with our legislators. So that'll be coming this Monday.
All right, thanks, Dan. 6B, approval of the WSBD delegate and alternative appointment for the 2023 assembly. So.
I was the delegate last year, but I'm free to share. It is on Wednesday, January 18th is the delegate assembly.
And
Dan, would you like
It's
to
a
go?
2-year term, last time I did. The first time you don't know what's going on, the second time you're like, all right, here we go.
I will go.
are you good with going again?
Dan, do
Because
you want to be the backup just in case?
Sure.
All right.
I appreciate it, thank you. So do we actually need a motion that says approval, or? Oh, all right, so I need a motion to approve Janelle as our delegate and Dan as our alternative.
I'll make a motion to approve Janelle as a delegate and Dan as the alternative for the next 5 years.
Second.
Strike that.
Tony, we need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? All right, thank you, guys, appreciate it. Finance, Buildings, and Grounds. A, consider the approval and approve additional changes to the 2022-2023 Support Staff Handbook. Amy.
Yep, so last Monday, we talked about the proposal that we have to add 2 holidays in to the handbook for our Group 2 support staff employees. Just a reminder, those are our employees that work during the school year. They don't work in summer and they don't work when we don't have school. This would be we have some full-time employees in our food service area that fall under this group, and then many part-time teacher aides in this group. We would like to add Christmas Eve Day and New Year's Eve Day. Those are 2 holidays that are district holidays. This group is the only remaining group that does not receive pay for those 2 holidays. So we are asking you to consider and approve adding those 2 holidays effective with this 2022-23 school year. So it's effective with the upcoming holiday season.
So I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the additional changes to the 2022-2023 support staff handbook.
Second.
Any more discussion, questions? Then all in favor, say yes? Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, thank you,
Thank
Amy. Sustainability, Dan.
Yes, one of the district goals is to continue to work on sustainability efforts, and that's in 2 different directions in our district. One is for the physical facilities in our district, and the other is for our human resources side. So I'd like to start with the human resources side. And when looking at this last year, the board had asked for about a 3-year look at the changes over time in staffing, so the turnover. So people in, people out, retirements, and those types of things. And so here we have a graph of that, and it gives us a good solid baseline that we can kind of look at over time. And we can see that in general, the trend is that for our professional staff, we have about half as much turnover in and out as we do for our support staff. That's just one generalization that we can make. Support staff are those folks who work in generally in food service, in custodial maintenance, as paraprofessionals, aides in our classrooms, and the professional staff generally are teachers. There's a couple other moved in there as well, administrators and some directors and things. So I think that gives us a good baseline for where we stand, and we can kind of compare that over time. It seems to be, it's a little bit up and down on the support staff side, but I think over time, my guess is we're going to see an average of, we probably could do a scatter graph of that, and over time, it's probably going to be trending in a similar direction. And the retiree and teachers hired and teachers resignations I would expect to see a similar number. We had an older staff not too many years ago, and now our staff in general in the district is younger. And so if we do have people that are leaving or coming in, that's going to kind of keep us a little bit younger. And the retiree group is a smaller group and will be continuing to be on average. If everybody stays, I guess in about 15 years, we'd have a kind of a bump in retirements. But another question that you've asked over time with that group is, if you look at the graph that we have here, is so people coming in, people leaving, why? And we do ask those questions when people leave, and we have exit interviews, and we have paperwork that people fill out when they leave, and so we can track that. So in that same time period, you can see that for our professional staff, reasons for leaving is about 94% of the time it is a family reason. So it's a marriage, a moving back closer to home. It's those types of things are the drivers for a resignation and somebody leaving. And only in about 6% of the cases is it due to something like a job promotion. Somebody became an administrator in a different district as they were a teacher, or it was a different job opportunity that they wanted to do a different type of position. So that's pretty rare compared to family types of reasons. And included in the family types of reasons is retirement. I threw it in with the retirement because they're going to have more family time. So, and then support staff reasons, you can see that it's a different number. So we've got about 72% of the time people are leaving for family types of reasons. But there is a much bigger number there for people who are looking at a job opportunity, promotion, full-time. For those of you in the audience who don't know, many of our aides are part-time. Some of our food service is a part-time position. And so when people are looking for a full-time position, that's a pretty common reason why that 28% of the people that have left that group do end up leaving, because there's some other type of work or that kind of thing that they're looking for. So that gives us kind of some good information there. Do you have questions or thoughts about that? Obviously, the reason that we're tracking and giving this data is because we're always intending for the reasons for people to be leaving not to be because they're dissatisfied here. We want them to be satisfied. We want them to have a good job experience here as well. And we don't want to see big increases in people leaving for some reason or another that we can control. So there's that information on the personnel side. Does anybody have any questions before I move to the physical plant?
With the support staff, just 28%, that's a number that I'm not sure, it's a bigger number, right? So the question becomes, job opportunity, promotion, or full-time. Do we have breakdowns that would tell us that if we had full-time teacher's aides, would that make a difference? Or are we not paying enough? Is that what promotion means, or job opportunity is pay rate? Do we have a way to break that down?
We do. I haven't broken that down. We could make that part of it.
I think if we believe 30% or nearly 30% is too much turnover in that group, then we do need to understand how, what we can do, or what we should at least consider if we'd like to reduce that turnover.
And then there's the flip side of it if you move to something like a full-time, and we've got, it's a shell game for us. It's a
I know.
reallocation of funds if you
Right.
go to something like full-time.
And I'm not
Yeah.
proposing that as a solution,
Right.
but to address sustainability, and if this number is not sustainable, or, we want to address these things, then we should have a better understanding of it.
Yeah, I can break that out into other parts of the pie.
Yeah, I think it'd be worthwhile.
Good.
Okay?
Okay. Anybody else?
Kind of amazed there's only really like, pie chart's pretty slim, right? There's like family or job opportunity or promotion. There wasn't really any other reasons people gave, like kids are driving me nuts or. No, I'm not gonna-
I don't
for
think they're gonna
example,
say that.
I feel like the job's too stressful. Plymouth School District is overbearing. There's just, it's kind of shocking that we're lumped into two areas only. Like, I would expected like just weird little slices of multiple different feedbacks for different reasons of leaving. But
I
they're,
think you could break it down, right?
No, we could. I would just give you an example of when I personally do the exit interviews for these, for folks that are leaving. Generally, they're people, they aren't those kinds of reasons. I mean, that's kind of why I put them in these categories, is because it would be like a 0.1% of, but, I mean, I still could break them out.
so it's like one person that's
Mhm.
specifically this. Okay.
Yeah.
The kids are
Doesn't-
driving her crazy.
You know there's that one. Yeah, I don't know if it helps us kind of diagnose. I guess if there was a lump sum of people that had the same issue with whatever that might be.
I can break out that into, more so for the support staff one. I think the desire for full-time is definitely one that pops in there on a regular basis. And then there are more money in a job in a different place is another one that jumps. I could probably break those out and make that pretty clear from that 28% that have that as a reason.
Yeah, because there are associated costs with that. I mean, with 30% turnover in that group, there's retraining, there's hiring, there are all those other costs that go along with it. So at least to understand with more detail what's driving it in that group, is that something then we take action on?
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
So the numbers on here, is this, down below, is that this school year?
That's over the three, that's this school year, yes.
Okay,
Those numbers are this school year, but the
Okay.
chart gives you the three.
the 3 years, okay.
Yep. And then for the physical plant, this just is a recapping of some of the things that we're doing to address sustainability in our environments where we have kids and people all the time. So on our grounds, as you know, we have moved to zero pesticide use. And so that we have not had any of that. Actually, we had been pretty much zero pesticide use over the last 3 or 4 years already, but that is just a continued note. This year, we've had a 90% reduction in herbicide and actually fertilizer use as well. Probably the only place, well, not probably, the only places where we're still applying some of that a little bit here and there, and we try to do in spot control, is where we need to, like around some of those electrical boxes and things, or on our playing surfaces. And then, of course, we're keeping people off of that until, the recommended time is gone. But we're also experimenting with organic weed and pest control. There's a lot of different options out there to get that done. We have some local people that are helping in that effort, that are some experts. Some of our former graduates are helping with that effort. And so we're going to continue with that and learn and grow into, hopefully our goal would be to have a completely green surface and from all of our vegetation, and that we would have kind of zero runoff from chemicals. And so that's our goal, but we want to also make sure it's difficult to do. We're dealing with rocky clay here that isn't super nutrient rich, and so trying to get those soils improved so we can get things to grow is going to take a little bit of time. So people out in the community, bear with us as we're trying to make this conversion, because there are some spots out there that don't look all that, they don't look like a golf course. And so we want to try to make it, we're trying to turn it over into organically looking nice. And we're looking at other kind of hardscapes and like the beautiful prairie over at Riverview, and maybe adding some of those kinds of spaces as well. We have things like smart irrigation. So on our soccer field, for example, we just don't have the big spray arm that goes out there. It is an underground smart system that knows where it's dry and where it's not dry, and it only waters the dry areas, so we don't use a ton of water. And we also have been I mentioned trying to expand our native species that we have planted on our grounds, and also we've been working on our ash tree removal. And we continue to do that, and replacement with native species as well. Then on the mechanical side of things, the LED lights that are, we buy some and we put them in, and we buy some and we put them in over time, and we're reducing energy usage through our LED lighting. We write for grants for some of those things. We use little bits of leftovers here and there that we have. But the rest of them that I have there are all listed. They're all smart controls. And I'll just give an example of one that we put in at Horizon this year. They aren't huge. We've got our HVAC system, which is a huge expense. But for example, this room is designed, engineered for whatever it is. Probably 80 people can be in here. So engineering wise, our air intake into this room is set for the engineering that this was designed for. So we got a lot of air pumping in here, no matter if it's full or if it's empty. Those smart controls know whether this room is empty or full. And so when the room is empty, it treats it like, or with 1 or 2 people, it severely drops the amount of outside air that's pulled into the room that you don't have to heat then, that you don't have to use air conditioning on. And so like our gym spaces, that they can really decrease the amount of outside air coming in and decrease the amount of heating dollars. So all of those smart controls that are listed there, that's just one example of them, are all designed to make us more efficient. And they aren't super expensive to put in, and they pay for themselves in a few years, like the one we just did at Horizon. So we're gonna keep working on all those smart controls, and if we do have bigger ticket items, when we have available funds, that goes through the facilities committee with the board, and we're always looking to be more efficient in that way. So questions about that?
No, it's good, thank you. We could, experiment with Clockworks or something, like a management company. How did that turn out?
Turned out okay. Clockworks came in and was applied, they put a program into our controls system that allowed them to see how we were managing and doing these smart types of arrangements. kind of what they found was that we've got a few people that do this work on a regular basis in the district. And so what they found was that the amount of savings that they could give us through their recommendations for changing our management of things was not enough to offset the cost of their program and their work with us. And so it really wasn't a smart arrangement for them as a business, and we're already kind of moving forward with doing those kinds of things as well, so.
All right. Anything else for Dan on sustainability? All right. We'll move on to gifts and corresponding budget adjustments.
Yes, we always have some gifts. We're very appreciative of our community and thank them always for helping with our students and sometimes with the community events that we have here as well. So first of all, I'll ask you to accept the donation of $1,361.61 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Shining Bright Books for social emotional learning. And then another donation of $509.59 from the Boys Soccer Booster Club for a team dinner. And finally, a donation of $372 from the Girls Swim and Dive Booster Club for team dinner. Those would be the donations this month.
Make a motion that we accept those gifts.
And corresponding budget adjustments.
Make corresponding budget adjustments.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yes. Yes. Opposed? Thank you again. We'll move on to policies. Approved second reading of the Neola Policy Updates, Volume 31, Number 2. Janelle?
This is a announcement of what we went through last month. Early in October, Kathy, myself, Dan, and a few others, Dina and Katrina, we met with our Neola policy representative, and he went through all the recommended updates for all the policies, and most of it's boilerplate, little tweaking of messages and definitions and so forth. But the two that we wanted to highlight again for approval was that there's an update to the library media centers, and primarily it's bringing it up to the same status as a previous policy we approved regarding public requests and suggestions and complaints. It outlines the procedures and steps that we'll take if there's a concern in just generally with our curriculum, or now we're doing the similar update for the library media centers. So that is step one. And the other item that we wanted to bring in to highlight is there's a section on policy growth or human growth and development. This policy, it's pretty much hasn't changed anything, but it is kind of explaining a little bit more in detail that if there's an issue again with the human growth curriculum, that the school district will create a citizens advisory committee. It would be set forth with the staff, parents, healthcare professionals, members of clergy, and other residents of the district. And that advisory committee can make recommendations to us as the board, and we, the board, then have final say if there is an issue in any of the curriculum or any of the matters of that nature. And I guess as a reminder, if you want further information on any of these policies, they're all on our district or on the school website. If you go to home, district, you'll find more. If you look under the Board of Education, all the policies are there.
Okay.
It's just updating the terminology and clarifying things here.
Thank you, Janelle. All right, so we need a motion to approve second reading.
I move we approve the second reading of Neola Policy Updates, Volume 31, Number 2.
Second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Okay, thank you. 9, period of public participation. Katrina?
We do have one speaker, Amanda Green. Can you come on up and state your name and address, please, and you'll have 5 minutes.
And where?
Please stand up right
My address is 408 Middle Street, Plymouth. So do you guys talk back to me? No, okay. So I guess what I would like to, I've never done this before. What I would like to bring is my kids go to Parkview. And I have talked to other parents in the district, and I feel like Parkview has still implemented a lot of the COVID restrictions. But what I mean by that is all of our students are still brought outside by the teachers, where it's very unwelcoming for parents to go inside. It was brought to my attention by one of my kids that you are not allowed to get into the school. You have to find a teacher, which has been difficult at times to find teachers at recess to get into the school. If there was an emergency and they can't get into a school, I don't feel that that's a very safe situation when all the doors are locked. Parkview does not have a buzzer to access the school, and my husband and I have gone to the school multiple times, and you have to call in to get into the school. Like, make a phone call to the secretary to get into the school because you can't push a buzzer to get into the school. It's not welcoming. And if there is an emergency and if a student needs to get into the school, how is that supposed to happen? If there's a student locked outside of the school for some reason, how are they supposed to access into the school without an opportunity? We have this shortage of aides and support, but it's not welcoming for us parents to volunteer in classrooms. You don't see parents in the hallways. You don't hear teachers asking for volunteers to come in. When you do, you get questioned, well, what's wrong? What do you need to see in the classroom? I don't feel like that's welcoming. And I guarantee you there's a ton of teachers that would be very happy to see what's going on in the classroom and to help the class and everybody around. So it's definitely, Horizon and Fairview, I think it is, both of them have buzzers to get in. You buzz, you talk to the secretary right there. It's welcoming, you sign in, you can go in. Teachers aren't bringing kids out at pickup. You drop your kindergarten student off and you line up outside and then they all go in. What happened to us walking them down to the classroom and being able to see what's going on in the schools? I walk in and there's no parents. It's not welcoming. So my concerns are the ability to just see, I don't understand if it's a COVID thing still or what we can do just to make it, to not feel unwelcome as parents. We should know what's going on and we should be able to see what's going on and we shouldn't be able to question getting into the school, and the kids should feel safe to get into the school if they need to. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is that it? All right, thank you again. We'll move on now to board liaison reports. Community Ed, Sally's not here tonight. Does anyone have a report for Community Ed? I know the buildings are busy, so that's a good sign. We'll move on to Foundation. That's my report. Just quick updates. Our brat fry raised $500. That money goes toward grants. Another $1,800 in grants was paid out by the foundation this past month. So always looking for staff members to come forward with new ideas for grants. So please encourage your staff to do that. For the community, it's a thank you. Thanks for buying brats. Also, as the end of the year comes, and you have a little extra cash, please consider giving it to the foundation. The foundation is here to enrich the educational experience for all our students, and we're always looking for ways to do that. And we appreciate any funds that come from the community. And that's Foundation report. Family Resource Center, Dan.
So last month I had disappointing news that our director was leaving. And this month I have exciting news that we have hired a new director. Her name is Tricia Epperding. She comes from the Mental Health America Association. She was the director of education and advocacy there. She has a STEAM background, went to college at the University of Whitewater and then to Milwaukee, University of Milwaukee for her Master's of Social Work. So we're very excited to have her, and we'll have our first meeting on Friday with her to learn more and see what type of action plan she's going to put forward. So,
Great.
thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. Personnel.
Yes, we have one that needs approval. We'll just do that one first, then there's a support staff update afterwards. So we're asking that the board consider the approval of a 100% contract for Taylor Teagues to be a special education teacher at Riverview Middle School. Taylor received her bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. This will be Taylor's 6th year of teaching.
All right. Motion. Need a motion?
Make a motion to approve the contract for Taylor Teagues.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay. Welcome, Taylor.
And then we have some support staff people that we can talk about as well, but that we don't need approval on these. First, Brenda Brunton, a special education aide at Fairview Elementary School, has submitted her resignation. Brenda has been with the district for 1 year. Jennifer Charles has been hired as a special education aide at Parkview Elementary School. Jennifer Taylor has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. Carly Anderson has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. And Christiana Smith has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. And those are the updates.
All right, thank you. Item 12, there's nothing that was moved to the consent agenda for separate discussion or from the consent agenda. That moves us to the president's report. It is Thanksgiving, going to be, and so we should think about things we're thankful for. And I guess I want to bring up this community, this district, and an experience I had, and what I'm thankful for is a community member reached out to me and said, "Hey, Bob, if you're not doing anything, you ought to get over to Riverview this past weekend, and see the play." Holy cow, it was wonderful. And 90 kids involved, all kinds of parents. Our school was full of parents and kids and staff members, and what a great production. It was beautiful to watch. The enthusiasm was fantastic. The engagement, it was just there. And I guess it was sold out, I believe, right? Almost every single, yeah, it was fantastic. So if you missed it, you really missed a show. But congratulations to Riverview, to the parents, to the staff. That shows so well about how important our extracurriculars are. And we talk about mental health, and we talk about community, and we talk about belonging. And I should stop talking because I want to use this young lady's words, and I'll probably say her name incorrectly, Liesel or Liesel. But here's what she said. "I love musical because it's like a second family, and I get to be with them after school. I enjoy the feeling of being on stage and spending time with my friends. The musical is an awesome after-school activity. I noticed that I have opened up more, and I made new friends with people I would never expect to talk to before. Every day, I look forward to going." How cool is that? So I'm thankful for that invitation, and very thankful for this entire community and our staff and our students and our parents, because they make for a great experience. And that's my report.
Thanks, Bob. I get to talk about student and staff accomplishments along with my report, but I was going to focus today, I guess you could we always kind of try to end up doing the same, but I kind of could do it this way. I was going to mention the fact that every year in our schools, we have Veterans Day celebrations. And for example, and every year we try to do different and innovative things or new things. And this year, for example, at the high school, it was the first time ever that the choir and the band did a number together. And it was really, really good. It was fantastic. And so the vets are there, and the vets at the middle school, I know there wasn't a dry eye in the house with that reading. But we also do things when we're reaching out to be thankful to our veterans in other ways too. So at Fairview, there were some letters put together that were sent out to a veterans home, and I'm just going to read what this came from the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, and it came to Fairview Elementary in a letter of thanks. And they're just saying, on behalf of the members and the staff of the Wisconsin Veterans Home Union Grove, I want to personally thank you, Fairview Elementary, for donating handmade Veterans Day cards to our members. They are of the generation who appreciate cards that are delivered and mailed to them. Your recognition of their service is greatly appreciated. It's through generous contributions such as yours that we can enrich the quality of life of our members and their spouses and provide an atmosphere that promotes camaraderie and lasting friendship. Nice. So congratulations. The kids got a chance to reach out and touch the lives of veterans that they don't even know, and but they kind of get that really good feeling that this is an important thing to do in service to our entire community. So congratulations there. Onwards and upwards. We have so many things going on. Just a quick thing. Sarah Micklick and Jen McCluskey at Parkview put on a wonderful Veterans Day assembly, and again, all the schools do a great job with that. At PHS, some student news. We have 5 students who were selected to be competing in the Fox Valley Technical College in the hamburger competition after submitting a video of their burger. There are only 8 students who are chosen, and we have 5 of them coming from Plymouth. So that's pretty cool. They are Caleb Martell, any relation? Caden Preeter, Danica Picard, and Donovan Beertzer, and Eli Colletti. They'll compete on December 2nd, so congratulations to them. We have a first-team All-State football player, and it's kicker Owen Plate as a junior, so that's pretty cool. One-act play did Radium Girls. The one-act play Radium Girls performed this Friday as they travel down to the Wisconsin Interscholastic Theater Festival at Whitewater to compete at state. Hope they do well. They always do. National Honor Society hosted a cornhole tournament in the multi-purpose facility. Congratulations to Zoe Ertl, Isaac Coleman, Morgan Phipps, Anna Seifert for earning their American FFA degree. Now, the cool thing about this is that there are only 4,305 members of the almost getting close to 1 million FFA members that earn that degree. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 of them in this school, so that's unbelievable. Congratulations. Our FFA program is strong. Joe Brandel, our high school principal, has been named to the WIAA Advisory Council. So that's, he can get us into a better conference, hopefully. We don't have to travel all the way to Berlin and Winneconne. Save some busing dollars. In continuing with the athletics idea, boys soccer won the conference championship and a regional championship, missing state by 1 game in overtime to Notre Dame. Cross-country girls won the conference championship and sent 1 qualifier to state, Hannah Downs. Football qualified for the playoffs for the 21st straight year. Swim and dive sent 1 qualifier to the state meet, an exchange student. So I've got this phonetically spelled. It's Alea Manatee, yeah. Plymouth equestrian team qualified for the state competition. It was held on October 28th in Madison. after winning the regional contest for the 4th year in a row. Again, there was a shout out to Riverview for the fantastic play that was done. Kids walking around had to learn how to walk on stilts and in giraffe costumes, and fantastic. And Mrs. Simnek and Mrs. Stout and Mr. Bunye were the adults from the district that led that effort, and they did a great job. And then both at Horizon and Fairview, we are sending a lot of teachers. So Julie Dentz, Caitlin Watry, Amy Bogenschutz, and 10 teachers from Fairview that are all digging into the science of reading. It's an in-depth reading program, learning about improving their pedagogy and making sure we have the best, highest quality resources to teach our kids to read at high levels. So lots of great things going on in the district.
Thanks, Dan. And that is our meeting. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Thank you all for coming.